Hello everyone, welcome to another week in our garden, or as we would say, in the shed. Now it's raining outside. It's been raining since early hours this morning. We don't know when this rain's going to stop. First of all, I just want to talk about these very nice people who have nominated me. I've actually been nominated 3 times to do different things along the way. Really want to say to you, I do apologise. With the floods we've had and the holly rings that I donate to the village hall, I just haven't had time, and when I do get back to the house in the evening, I'm that tired I go to sleep. Now, talking about the floods, until the bank is repaired, if we have a lot of rain, the garden will flood. We've actually been flooded 5 times and I've cleaned up 4. I'm not going to clean it up again. The garden itself, the soil is turned to like a pudding now, so the best thing I can do is leave it alone. Now, the holly rings I make, if you can remember, I do 10 a year and I donate them to the village, and they sell them at the coffee morning, and the money made will go towards the upkeep of the village hall. So I'm donating 10, that's 5 at the top and 5 at the bottom. The sale is actually tomorrow, so my neighbour will be taking them up for me later today. Now, the rings at the back, as you can see there, they've been started but not finished. Now, they are for all the nice people who've donated conifer and cones and holly out of their gardens so I can make them. Now, for those lucky people who haven't seen or tried making holly ring yet, I'm going to do one from start to finish with you. We have done this 3 times already, I think, so there's little bits different as we go, so we'll do one through and so everybody can have a go then. Okay, now to make the holly ring we need the ring which Diane buys me from Amazon. They're not expensive, and then I have bobbin wire, 2 thicknesses, 1 thin, 1 rather a little bit thick and not a lot. That will be for holding the straw on, and that will be for holding everything else on. Secateurs, a pair of pliers, because if you have to pull the wire my hands aren't strong enough no more to do it, and a pair of good scissors. Now, I'll be using this barley straw. I buy it actually for the chickens, so I put this in their beds so they've got a nice warm bed to lay their eggs on. But it's a very soft straw, which is ideal for making the rings up. So we'll use a little bit of this. Always put your ring with these welded pieces upwards, because if you put them the other way around that could scratch any door etc that they hang it on. So we use the thinner wire for this job, and we'll start by fastening it on. Nothing too much, just a knot will do it. There you go. And then what we'll do is we'll go around that way, putting the straw on. When I'm putting the straw on, I just take a handful and I put it on, and then I hold everything together with my hand. And my hand, sort of like that, is the sort of thickness I want it. If you've got smaller hands than me, you'll have to do it a little bit bigger, obviously. And then it's just a case of going over and under. Just keep going round, about an inch gap, and then as you go in, take some more straw and put it on. Okay, bit of a messy job, but it's easily done. Just keep this hand going round. As you can see, look, you get this effect. Now I'll take that all the way round to there and show you what we do then. Now when you're getting towards the end, just keep going. Push it over as you go, look, so it's there, and then over. Push over. Now, having got that far, we actually go round again. Alright? Try and get your wire so it goes between the two wires you've already got on. And if you keep your hand pushing round, it actually makes the barley straw lay down a bit flatter, look, you see? See where it's here, look, just take it round. Now obviously if you're going around twice, if you find somewhere that's a bit thin, then you can put more barley straw on it as well. And just keep going. That's quite a difference. Now not too tight. If you do it too tight, you'll never feed your conifer etc. into it. Softly tight, if you know what I mean, so you can squeeze it down, because when this gets damp, when it's outside, it'll swell up anyway and tighten everything up. Nearly there. Round and round. Go again if you want. It's only thin wire, it's not going to hurt too much. Then what I do, I take it over my thumb, throw that underneath, and then just tie that off. You see? Just tie it off on top, don't do it underneath, and then just cut that with the scissors, not the secateurs, remember, the scissors. There's your ring. It's strawed up. We get the scissors, good pair of scissors, and just snip the long bits off. There's no need to be too exact about it, but just to tidy it. Okay. You see these long bits here, we just take those off. Then same again the centre, look. Just odd bits, they'll be fine. Turn it over, same again. Just flatten the back up a little bit. You have to be careful you don't cut your wires though, so let's start again. There you are. Having strawed it up, we need to put the conifer on it. A green base conifer. These have been cut. Let me show you. This one hasn't been cut. If you get the bits off, that's how, when they say, people say I can cut a little bit of their conifer, that's all I'm interested in. I don't like to take big branches off. And then what we do, we take it down about that, lose that, that's usable. So, and that's the sort of pieces we want, not like that. If it's got little cones on, that's fine, but sometimes I find that while I'm making them they soon get knocked off. That's the green base we use. Now sometimes you get a conifer that's got a nice green, but if you spin it over it's a different colour. So we will be spinning one or two of these over as we make it to get the variation in colours, you see. The other thing is gold conifer. This is actually a juniper out of our front garden. I use that, but you can also, if I can find some, this is the similar to one to that one, but this is the variegated or the yellow, and we'll use that as well. Now you can do it all in green if you wish, but I like to mix a bit of these yellows in with it now and again. It just gives it the highlight as you go round. The juniper, I'll show you when we're doing it, we tend to use that in the sides of the ring just to bulk the outer and inner sides up. I do try if possible to have a tray of green, a tray of yellow and some Christmas tree there as well, so I can just feed it onto the ring as we're conifering it out. But it's you do it as you wish. If you could do it all Christmas tree if you wanted, that would be nice. We changed to the little bit thicker wire now because we really need this to hold on. If you use the thin, it might snap and then you'll have bits of conifer falling off. Find the wire and spin it on, okay? Just round a few times, but always make sure that you're ready for going in, not out, so you don't leave no sharps on it. Then it's just a case of taking the conifer. Remember, it's that long. If you had it really long, when you're going up the side it'll just flop open, so you don't want much more length on it than that. Then it'll hold itself nice and tight. I'll do a few turns and then show you. Remember, it's the sides that we're really packing. The top will all have different hollies etc on it, but you don't want no straw showing on the side, so really pack your sides. Now remember, some of this has got a lighter coloured back to it as well, so just flick one over now and again, you see, just to cover that top. Now remember when I said we had a little bit of Christmas tree there, we'll put that in the sides, not perhaps a bit in the middle as well, and then what we'll do, we'll brighten it up with a couple of these yellow pieces. You see, it makes it nice. Remember, not too much on top because other things will sit on top. Let me just show you. Things like this will sit on top, so it's the sides we're really looking at. Having got that in place, go over it with your wire at least twice, okay? In fact, I would think if you just start and do a third time, and then as you pull, press your conifer to each sides like that, then rest it. Then we start again. I'll do one more to show you. See how it all blends together. Little bit on top and then more on the sides. Very important to get these sides really bulked. Now that's a good one, that's gone on there. A little bit more on top just to cover it. Then a bit of Christmas tree. You're putting this Christmas tree on, you're actually filling the sides up as well. And then a bit of yellow. Just keep hold of it with your finger while you're doing it. And then turn again. And remember, spread and pull. And that keeps everything nicely in place, look. Okay. I shall continue with this right round and then I'll show you how to bring the two ends together, okay? Right, we've got round to where we started. So what we do now, if you take that carefully to one side, like that, and just hold it with your hand. And then what we do then, we carry on with the filling. Same as before. Remember, it's the sides, not so much the top, but the top will want a little bit of covering on it. Remember to spin one or two of the conifers over so it's green one side. It might be like a steel blue the other side, which looks quite nice. We'll have a little bit more on this side, I think. Now if you've got a wooden bit like that, a little stick, try and push it into the straw and then hold it down. Just secures it a bit better. Alright, now we'll have the little bits of Christmas tree on. They always slide into the the straw, they were always easy. And a little bit, if we've got any, little one there, look, that'll go onto there nicely. Some gold, like we've done all the way round, just to brighten it a little. You can see that one wants to stick up, so what I should do with that one is just turn it over so it goes down. A little bit on the inside. There's a nice piece for the inside. If it's flat, always turn it a little if you want, and it makes them a little bit so it sticks up a little bit more. And then hold it all together and feed round. Remember, spread it before you put the weight on. A little bit there missing, not though, doesn't matter, we'll get with the next one. Spin it over and over again, just to lock it. Then, same as before, round your thumb, up and tie off. Okay. And then we'll do a knot, and then it's easy, it won't slip at all, ever then. Scissors. Cut that off. And it's very important that this piece of wire is actually folded down and pressed into the conifer, so there's no sharps to catch anybody on. Push your conifer back in. Now that is a conifered ring. What I normally do then is I just get it with my hands and I just roll it over a little bit to make sure you got that edge. There you are. That is one conifered ring. As you can see, all the variations in the colour, and there's a little bit of Christmas tree all the way around. Now we need to put the cones on. We'll put them in groups of 3. The granddaughters and Gemma and some nice people out the village, while they're walking the dogs, etc., always save me the cones that they see on the walkways. I think Gemma and the girls actually picked them up when they was on holiday once. Very nice cones. Not too big, you don't want the real big ones. And also, these have been kept in this shed. But once they get out, hanging on the door or on somebody's gate, they will tend to close up. So when we wrap them with the wire to put them onto the conifer, we need to wrap them quite tight. So we use the thicker wire for tying the cones in. It's a little bit difficult, but what you want to do is put the wire into the cone. Now get a nice long piece on it there, perhaps a little bit longer, that's plenty. Look, that's a good 6-7 inches, but you'll need that for later. Feed that right into those cones, into the, I don't know the name of these things, but I bet you Graham Thomas will know. Pull it tight as you can and then give it a good twist so that's in there nice and tight. Then we go to the next one, so we'll go, bring that round to there. Look, this one's quite easy because there's a nice channel to put it in. So in we go all the way round, nice and tight, then lay it on top, move that out of the way, give it a good twist. You see, and that then becomes quite tight. Then the third one, same again, through there, look. See, remember, quite tight. Mind that wire out of the way, we'll come to that in a moment. And then bring the 3 together nice and tight. So that's holding nice and tight, look. So what we do now, we just pop a knot in that. We don't want it opening up to any stage. There you are. Now we'll leave that for a moment. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit it on this blue spruce. I know those cones don't belong to this spruce, but the cones for the spruce are not really suitable for making the rings. You need the pine cones. So what we'll do, we'll bring these together, we'll put a little big Christmas tree at the back, and then we'll bind it onto the ring. I'll put those in there. Now with the spruce you will get sticky, so you might need to clean your hands now and again. Pull some of these needles off. That's going to make a good base. Now we won't use this wire, it's far too thick for binding, so we'll take a binding wire. This is thin green binding wire, and we'll put those together and then hold that with your thumb and just bind it a few times, pulling quite tight towards the end. I'll show you. See, now I'm quite tight, I'm pulling quite tight, and a couple more around it, and that's sat on there nicely. We'll just take that tail off, we don't need that. That goes in the rubbish bag, by the way. And then turn it over. Same again, little bit of Christmas tree, look, just skin them a little bit, don't need a lot. And we'll put that to that side. Put that one, I don't know, maybe there. And then bind them again. Remember, after you've gone round a few times, put it tight and then bind again, and then cut off. That's the binding we have finished now. Now when we bring it back, as you can see, we can just pretty it up a little if you like that. And then what we do, then we pick the cones up, and the cones will sit on top. Turn it over and tie off. There you go. And we tie that off, double. Don't want nothing slipping, and there you are. That's the next step now. Now we're going to mount this on the ring. So what we do, we pick a place, we'll put it here for now. I just part the conifer a little bit, and then I press with my thumb into the straw to make a little bit of a dent, and it's that dent that will take the stem off that. Now as you go down, I'll try and show you, try and feed the wire so it's going through all the conifer etc, so you don't see it. This is inside and outside. So the idea is you want to tie it there, look. Spin it over and then tie it off. Really good pull. Now my hands aren't so good for this, so I have to use the pliers because I can't grip the wire so well. Once I've tightened it and put a twist in it, and then I just wind it down nice and tight, lift this one up and then cut off with the scissors. Remember, that goes in the dustbin. Now it's important, again, this piece that's sticking up there, probably very, very sharp. I know I've had a few into me. So if you bend the top over and then feed that into the straw so it's not going to catch anybody, that'll do fine. And there you are, it's the first one on. Just pull your conifer up from the back, make it look like it's on. And what we do now, we do that with 2 more. The idea being that you have to space them the same, because we'll put holly in between, etc. So you need to space them. But a good tip is to make one space a little bit wider, because we need to put a ribbon in there. So if you make it a little bit bigger on one, and those two about the same, we'll be all right. I'll get these 2 mounted on the ring, and then I'll show you the next stage. Now there's the cones mounted, and now we'll move on to putting some holly in it. Okay, I'm using 3 different kinds of holly. Green holly, this variegated, this is actually called hedgehog holly, and as you can see it is absolutely vicious. The other holly I'm using is Golden King, which is actually female because it bears berries, but we'll use this as well and just crown up with the hedgehog holly, because this is very, very fierce and you don't want it too much on the edge, else people won't pick them up. I'm just going to put 6 pieces of green holly into those bases. This is the green holly, Ilex aquifolium, quite sharp, but I've kept it outside because if you keep it too much inside, that's what happens. Look, it breaks off easy. So if you keep it outside, it's not so brittle. Now this is only basing out. Now if you remember all those wiring we did, so we're looking to go under the wire and just hold it down like that. And there's 2 in each one of these 3 gaps. Try that one. There you go. It will drop to bits quite easily, but this is holly that's come from out of the woods where it's not so fierce. If it's been in the sun a lot and grown in the sun, it's really, really fierce to handle. It's a bit like the hedgehog holly. Just find a wire and go under it. I'll show you close up if I can. Now there, can you see that? That's the wires from the original wrap, and we're going to try and get under that, not with that one though, perhaps with this one. So if you press down and then go under that wire will hold that beautifully. Same thing, as soon as you find the wire, slide it slowly underneath. You'll find that it breaks quite easy. That's the base. I'm not going to put a lot of base on because this is quite sharp holly, so we'll take those away now. And we'll use the Ilex Golden King. What I do is I'll follow this back a little way, look. I need them about that long, so I'm cutting at the long edge, so I got it sharp at the end, then I can take that off. And same again there, save this piece, that's good for making the finishing. Now this little bit, if I take those 2 off, turn that one over like that, I can push this. Can you see the wires there? So I can push that under that wire in nice and tight and then open it, so it's giving me an edge. And I'll do that under every cluster of cones and every cluster of holly. I'll always put one in the side. So now we need to put something under this blue. So same again, look, that's where I've cut it as a sharp. There's a bit of Christmas tree there, so I'll pull that up as well. And then we're feeling for it going under a wire, and then there you are. You see it's given that a bit of background to that blue. Now to do that, under each side, and also these will also go into these. Oh, those are falling off, never mind. These will also go into there to make a cluster. I'll do that one way, one the other, just to show you, and then I can do them all. And that goes in there. I'll have to do it just here because I can't see to do it. Find a wire. It will go under. There you are, look. So that's the makings of a cluster there. We'll put some Golden King holly underneath all the blues, and we'll make 3 clusters up like that, and then we'll show you the next stage. Now you can see that we've put the green underneath, and then we've popped a little bit of the Golden King underneath and started to make the rosettes with it as well. But everywhere has got a little bit underneath, and I've also put some around the edge, around the edge of the ring. You can't really put very spiky around the edge because nobody will be able to pick them up. That'll do nicely for now. Now we use the prickly stuff. So what we're going to do, we're going to try and put 2 inside each one of these 3, and maybe a little bit under the blues to bring the blue out a bit. You can see on its edge loads and loads of spines. That's why we call it hedgehog. I don't know its correct name, but we just call it commonly hedgehog holly. You can get it in green as well, and that's absolutely vicious. So we need 2 pieces out of that if we can. So we'll snip it at an angle just there like that. That piece there will go underneath a piece of blue to give it a bit of lift with that. I'll push it right into that straw bed. There you go, look, and just mix that in with that. That'll do nicely. This one, we'll open that up, we'll take those 2 off. And this will here, we'll just pop into, if I can make a way in, pop into there so it goes under a wire, and then I think if it backwards and forwards it gently, they will find the wire and go underneath it, and that one will go in there nicely. Now you can see the crown actually forming when I put one in this side, and this is the one we'll put in. It is nice and sharp, so it should go in at the front. And then you really do need variegated holly for this. It's no good using too much green. So what we should do, we'll finish this crown what I'm using, and then I'll do the others. You see this has got no prickly underneath it, so we'll pop one of those under, and then this will nicely go under there. There it goes. That's tight, so that's fine, and that's holding that and bulking it up just there. Let's finish this rosette. Let's finish this crown. So we've got holly that side, holly that side. We started a crown, as you can see. What I do, I use to save these little bits that are just young shoots coming off the holly, look, but they're always very colourful. And then we put them into there, can you see? Like that. And then we use this one. We'll go on the opposite with this one, look. So it'll actually hold those 2 open, or should do anyway. There you go. That's good. Now we're going to put a berry into that centre where my finger is. Now I use plastic berries because if you use the real holly berries, I'm afraid the birds will take them off straight away, and then it will spoil the ring. So let's do this then. Give yourself a good piece of wire. It has a hole in the centre, but I just put mine on like that and give them a push, and then just put a tie on it just to hold it in place, and then pull it down so the tie goes across the top. There you are, and then I've got it. Look, I can place it wherever I want. So now we'll put this into that crown where that fine where the smaller pieces of holly are, making sure your wires are going completely through the holly, etc. Just check it before you tighten up. I'm happy with that, so let's tighten that off. Make sure it's nice and tight and level. So I'll pop these other two on, and then I'll come back to you and we'll just pop some baubles on and that ring and a ribbon. I think the ring will be done. We've got the rosettes, as I call them, on. They're actually plastic berries with different hollies behind them. There's 3 different varieties of holly in there just to hold them up together nicely. Now what we do now, remember that this space here we're going to put a ribbon there, but we've also got 2 clusters of baubles to put on. These are just plastic baubles, as cheap as you can get them, because you don't want anything that's going to break if anybody mishandles it and glass going everywhere. They could be on somebody's door, so plastic is good. I put 3 together and I just thread one of the wires through the little holes at the back and then tie them. Then I get this soft juniper. This is actually out of our front garden, and I take just a little bit off it, just one of these, but make sure it's got a nice wooden base to it so I can feed it into the hole at the bottom. Not too much, don't spoil it, but obviously the yellower the better. Nice piece there, look, we'll have that. There you are. We'll just thin that one down a bit. There you are. Let's have a look at this one. And we'll thin that one down a bit. There you go. And what's simple to do, just put a loose tie. Don't pull it tight yet. I usually put it to my finger and then just hold off. And then just feed those in. Like that. The right way up, by the way. So it's upside down as we look at it. Push them right in. And then it's got you. Just snap it close fast and then you'll find that you've got it. These little brown bits I'll take off. Look. Don't like those. There you go. Then when we feed that in, that'll take the golden or light green conifer with it and fill up all the spaces. We'll open the blue up a little bit so the blue and the yellow will go nicely together, and then we'll feed that in. Make sure you can't see no wire, it will spoil the effect. There you are, look. And then once that's in place, we can spin it over and tie off exactly as we did before. Turn over and tidy, make sure it's all nice and tidy. Bring the blue up if you can. Blue's nice on them, look. And that's one done, so we need to balance it with one over there. I'll balance it with the one here and then show you how we're going to put the ribbon on. Now that's the 2 bauble groups on. makes it smile a little bit. And now we need a ribbon, so we're going to use this florist poly ribbon. Now I'll show you how I tie my ribbons, but do bear in mind my hands aren't the best. I've already measured it out over the years where I need to be every year on this, so I know from previous ribbons that it goes to there and it's cut off. And then we have a short piece to make the tie, which I will take to that mark there and cut off. Now this piece, short piece, will make the loop to hang, and also it'll make the tie to hold the ribbon to the ring. So what we'll do is take that in half, like that. Pick your ribbon up and bring the ends together like that, and your thumb in there and pinch it, and then make 2 folds like that. You can see the ribbon forming already, look, can't you? Perhaps make that one a little bit bigger like that, you see? And then you just sort of concertina the ribbon until it's together like that. Then we take one of the short pieces and you pinch the ribbon together and then pop that through, and yes, I do bite it to get it right, and then tie it so that the knot allows the 2 tails to be across the bow. That's important for when you're putting it on the ring. Turn it over, tidy up, put your fingers inside, make it all nice, and then take this to the ring. Now we're going to put it in there, look. So just move things apart a little as you go in, but you don't want to see the ribbon if you can help it, so try and bury it in the conifer. That's the tie ribbon. You see how it's disappeared under there, look. That's nice. We like that. We'll sort this out once we turn back, and then to tie, it's just normal tying, but try and tie it near the top of the frame. We'll do it to, there you are. Then we take the other piece of ribbon, scuff it up a bit, and then push it under the wire frame, you see, and then under this ribbon here. By pulling the knot up, you can soon feed that underneath, and then you've got it in a loop. I use 3 fingers, but you perhaps use a bit more because my hands are huge, and just about there, so you've got something to hang it. Now when you're pulling the ribbon, give it a good pull, because if it starts to slip you have to tie it again, and then we pull that down so that these 2 long pieces here can also be knotted. That's holding it all together now, not. And done. I don't know what that is sticking up there. We'll take it off anyway. Take the tails off. One more somewhere. There it is. Look. Take those off and take those away. Now we know that that's going to hold that ring up nicely. Take your ribbon tails in, make it nice and tidy, and then we need to slice these at an angle like that. That's one. That's two. Bring it through. So that's it. That's your holly door ring. We've made this one up especially for this filming, so Sharon, if you're watching, this one's for you, so I'll give it to Byron, he'll bring it for you tomorrow. Now you can do them different colours. This one's been done in gold. I did this yesterday. Diane likes this one with the gold on. Is this one. Now this is a variation of the holly ring, but it's actually I've been asked to do a grave ring, and this is the grave ring on the variation of what we do. As you can see, there's no ribbon, double the berries, smaller cones because they'll probably be outside and they'll close up quite quick, but that looks presentable to anybody. I think that's a nice ring. Now that'll be it for this week. It's quite late at night, it's quite dark, and it's still raining. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get on that garden. It'll probably be next year, but we'll see. Again, apologies to those nice people that have nominated me. I'm so sorry, I just haven't been able to get around to it. And as I said, when I get back to the house, I'm so tired, and especially after doing this lot, I nod off in the chair. So as I said, that'll be it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do have a go at making these rings. They look difficult, but they're not really. The most difficult thing with them is collecting all the materials together and preparing the materials. So that's it for this week. Many thanks for watching. We do appreciate it. Now we will pop back before Christmas and give you an update on the garden and the water, and tell you how the rings have got on up the village. So we'll see you soon. So bye now.